Hey guys, today is the fifth part of me writing a track using the master template. Today I'm going to add a pad, but it's not necessarily going to end up being a pad. I'm going to drag in a pad sound. I've got this idea in my head, kind of a whomping type of sound. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag in an operator pad that's part of the master template. I'm also going to name these bass and bass 2. In fact, what I think I'll do is I'll just highlight all these and create a group. And we'll call that bass. That way it cleans things up a little bit. Okay, so we got this operator here. Now I got to find kind of the sound that I want to use. Okay, so it's got a slow attack right now. So I want to something right around there. I want to get rid of the reverb. And I'm going to get rid of the release. Okay, so I definitely don't want that. I'm going to put this on auto so I know exactly which one we're working with here. Alright, so this one here, let's take a look at our envelope. Alright, cool. So now I can choose between let me see how that sounds with the drums. Okay. The next thing that I want to do is I want there to be a little bit of delay on the sound. So I'm going to drag in a simple delay here. And I know that I want the delay to be 2 to kind of have a... I'm going to turn the wet dry down and then turn the feedback up. But I want it to be a little bit slower. There we go. And I'm going to turn the wet dry down even a little bit more. And let me play around with this a little bit. Alright, cool. So we're kind of getting close to the sound that I'm looking for. Okay, what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to create a audio track here. And I'm going to drag the simple delay in here. And I'm also going to drag an EQ here. Just to get rid of some of the sub frequencies. And I'm going to feed this to here. So I'm just going to put whoop audio. So I'll send from this operator track to here. And the reason I'm doing this is so when I record these parts, what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to end up flattening these into audio, and I want to flatten them without the delay so that I can come back and affect the delay later to so that I can kind of automate it later on. So pretty much gives me the same result though. Let me just turn the monitor to in. All right, great. So now I'm just going to go ahead and record this. And I'll just come here and make sure this is 16 bars even. Now I'm going to duplicate this a couple times. And like I've done in the other one, I'm going to play with the octaves a little bit. So this one I'll drop lower just by holding shift and pushing the down arrow. Cool. And this one I'll go an octave higher. Okay. Now I'm going to duplicate this track twice. And the reason I'm going to do this is because I want to add different sounds to the same parts. So and let's see if I can play with this sound a little bit. That sounds better. But it sounds a little rushed, so I'm going to bring the track delay back. I'm going to play with the envelope a little bit here on the filter. part of it that's kind of bugging me, but I'll work on that in just a bit. Let's try this. We'll go to a different sound here. We'll solo these, but I got to turn these off because these are still being sent to the other track. Pretty low. Bring the volume up a little bit. Not really feeling this one here. It seems to not really be. There we go. Okay, great. So what I'm going to do is highlight all these here, and I'm going to switch all these to audio. So first I'm going to freeze the tracks. And what I'll do is right click and then flatten them. Now all these are turned into audio parts. So I'm going to rename this Whoop 1, Whoop 2, and 3. So now all these different choices here, I'm actually going to take this even further. I'm going to highlight these. Actually, I'm going to highlight all 4 and group it. Three different versions because I've got all different things, and I just have choices here. So what I can do later is I can record all the outputs. Once I get it down, I can consolidate it all to one file, but for now I'm not sure what choices I'm going to want, so I'm going to give myself all this for now. So now I'll just delete the first two here, there, this here. Let's keep organized here. There we go. So now I can I'm just going to turn all these on and then start them. All right, cool. Now I can add something to the whole group. What I'll do is I'll actually pop these in the group. And I can get rid of this. And I can send them all to the master. And then I can spread these out a little bit. Oh. These I want to do one at a time. Let's get a compressor on there. we could probably even add a little bit of reverb back in. And then what I'm going to need to do is kind of dial in exactly how I want these to play, so I can line these up a little bit. How I'll do that is I'm just going to highlight these three. Actually, no, I'm going to highlight the rest of the year. Turn these off for a bit. So I'll just do this to these tracks as well. And drag the start point over. And I can be in paste and paste. I think we got a bunch of bass happening here, which is this one here. bring in a flange. All right, now I hear pad sound, so I'll drag another instance of the pad. And I'm going to use the thin pad for this. That's got its natural movement there. Excellent. So I'm going to go ahead and record that. Okay, that should be plenty. And all I really need is 32 bars. And I'll set this back here. Bring in a filter. Okay, and the final thing that I want to do is kind of get a little bite sound. I'll come over here, and I'm going to put, let's see here, sampler lead. Okay, now I want to set a pitch envelope here. So there we have it for day 5. A big day of kind of fumbling around and getting the sound. That's kind of what I do is I'll just keep layering things and try to build on it. I still don't think quite there, so I'm going to have a think on it, but this is going to be it for today. So in the next video, I'll see if I can take it further. All right, so I wanted to come back and just add a couple things. I was goofing around with the song while not recording, which of course is always going to happen. I realized that what the sound here was missing was some chorus widening, and it kind of gives it a bit more of a fluid sound. So I just dragged a chorus in and cranked the amount all the way up. Kept the feedback down, and the wet dry 50-50 is good with me. And I like that quite a bit. And came over here and oops, it's not what I want to do. I want to go to number 1, and I pulled a little bit more of the lows out, took it up to around 200. I actually added some of the frequencies back into the higher frequencies. And I like the way that sounds overall. And also I backed off the feedback. And then the next thing I did was I added a new audio track, called this Whoop. And now I'm just going to send this whole group over to that track and record it as one, and then I'm going to get rid of the group just to save CPU and keep things simple. I'll set the monitor to in, and I'm going to turn this up a little bit just so I get a louder signal coming in here. If that's plenty, all I need are 16 just to keep it, each one sounding a little bit different. Oh, 16 bars. And then I'll delete this, and there we go. I also like the way it sounds without this, with just these two parts playing off each other. Turn this up just a little louder. And I could come into the sampler and play a little bit with the pitch envelope decay. And so forth. So that's where I am with this. By the way, when I made this whoop part and then I separated it to 9 different tracks, I could have just as easily used, when it was still in the MIDI form, I could have come over here and grabbed the chord effect and then dragged that in and kind of built little chords out of that as well. So I'll give this a little thought, and then I'll come back and we'll add a little bit more to the song.